Right guys, so last time we talked about how to sculpt the neck, and let's continue to get this rib cage and basically the upper part of the body ready. And as you guys can see, we just got a flickering screen here. I think it's a sort of a bug of a Mac. So if you're using Mac and the Blender just got the flickering, I think maybe there's some sort of a problem with the flash card or multi-screen drive, and maybe the I use OBS Studio to record it, so maybe just a different channel to take a different flash cards, and this just got glitched. And yeah, this is problem occurs frequently, so I haven't figured out a way to completely avoid it from happening. But my quick solution is just to make a whole screen to refresh it. All right, just got another screen and got it back, and yeah, I hope for the best. If you can't do that, you can just completely close this whole program and reopen it. Okay, so I think we are going to got the rib cage here, and since we sort of already finished the upper part, the head and the neck part, we already got a lot of details done. So what I'm going to do is to just create a completely new one, and this time we can get our hair out. Okay, so this is just a placeholder, unless you want to mold someone bald. That's just to get some hair, so get a proper proportion for that, because you know the hair do have some volume. So let's enter object mode, Shift and A to get a new mesh for you to sculpt with. So UV sphere, and I think it's fairly good. So grab it, G, and Z axis, grab it down. Okay, and remember last time I told you that you don't need to get a pretty short neck. You don't necessarily get the exact length of the neck. You can elongate it a little bit. Okay, the reason for that is that you can always sink the neck inside of the mesh, something like that. Okay, so let's just leave it here. Front view, side view. Okay, and you can just check all this out. And what I'm going to do, of course, is to grab it down. This is definitely not enough, so what I'm going to do is first, of course, rename it, and I think I'm going to give it the upper body. Okay, upper body. And when you sculpt, you sort of imagine the anatomy here. So we got a long and a rib cage, so you take a huge part, and then you got this arm, something like that. Okay, so let's grab it down. So change that to sculpt mode, and yeah, where's my pen? Yeah, got it. And let's quickly drag it out. Okay, so I'm going to use the dragging tool to just quickly drag it down. Sorry, I need to got this mirror, silly me. And mirror, I think, is x-axis, so when you do that, you will just get x-axis. And I think the mesh still not too much, so we don't get a lot of vertices to work with. So I'm going to get it 0.05, maybe 3, just add more mesh. And of course you can remesh it, so you can clearly see a lot of things for you to work with. Okay, so, and the mirror, remember to switch it on. So let me just grab it down. And remember, the rib cage is sort of like a curve. So this part, the front part, do not need to get it too down, so you can get something approximately like this. But the back side, you need to get a huge drag. So let me got that huge drag it down, so get a nice curve here, and it's like a tooth, so you can just make it smoothly dragging down. side. Okay. You don't have to be precise because you can always add more volume by using clay strip later on. So let's just pump it up a little bit. So you sort of look at it and you just think of the anatomy and say this is a long here and the rib cage. Rib cage may be a little bit bigger, so basically it's like a long. And I sort of a scene in the RoboCop, right? And the RoboCop just got completely transformed into a mechanical body, something like that, and they got all this organ connected together. And the first time, I still remember the first time when I saw the film, and the hero in the RoboCop just got pretty shocked when they realized that his whole body just nearly become a machine. And yeah, I'm sort of imagine that when I sculpting. So yeah, it's pretty like that. So imagine things and recall things and reconnecting all this dots in your real life, and in all sort of movies or any kind of entertainment that you experienced is a good way to connecting dots and to improve or just to make your style a little bit fun. Okay, so yeah, it's a good way to exercise and maybe add a little bit to your sculpting, to your art, to your design. And yeah, let's we already got the rib cage, and sorry, it's long, right? So we need to consider rib cage and all the muscles. So my personal preference is to sculpt from inside, and we adding layers along the way. So what I'm going to do is to adding that. Okay, so I think I need to make it up a little bit, because clearly the yeah, maybe not just completely move it up, but adding that. Okay, so let's try to do that. We got this clay strip, and let's make it smaller. Okay, so I'm thinking about the rib cage. Rib cage is definitely not the structure like this, but rather we need to grab the left and right side out a bit. So I'm thinking about pretty muscular one. So maybe just increase and change the form a bit. Maybe just to use this technique to make this man a little bit bulky. Right, so he work out a lot. So this is a rib cage adding the muscle rather than just a long. Okay, so I tend to add a little bit of anatomy inside, but I don't want to overcomplicate things, because understanding anatomy is important, but you can't make good model just by using anatomy. Okay, you need to consider all these different interference, and you need to stylize it a little bit. So let's add in muscle, right? Let's add so we got so if you work out a lot, you will get a chest, something like that, collarbone, and chest muscle, something like this. Okay, so it's got bulk it out. Okay, so yeah, I think this is a good way to help you to work out. You know the name of the muscle that you're actually doing. So yeah, maybe something like that. Okay, so got pretty bulky chest, and we got this muscle around the neck. Yeah, something like that. And then this rib cage, something like this. I like to make it more prominent. Maybe just grab it down a bit to leave more space. To adding a little bit of space, in fact, to fine tuning that. Okay, and let me grab this part out a bit, just a bit. Okay. And I think you turn this around, you can clearly see that the back is not so bulky, and the connection, the transition here is not so good. So what I'm going to do is to grab this part up a bit. So if you work out, you understand that if the person got a lot of pushing and yeah, lifting the weight, the muscle here will be so strong. So I'm going to give it a little bit of curve, right? Just got a pretty bulky person, okay, and this part I'm going to level up a bit. So and you can get a side view, and of course later on you can smooth this up a bit, okay. And things like a bulky person, let me just go over here now. I like a bulky person, this part is not so bulky, so I like his back got a little bulged up, okay, so something like that. And I like him to have a natural curve of his back, so it's not completely straight up, but follow a certain curve. So I'm going to push it down a bit, okay. And of course don't overdo it, because that would be weird for and to have something like that, okay. So okay, so if you just use the certain side view, you got this person got a pretty humped back, and it will be pretty weird if you look at different angles. So do realize that we got different angle here, and clearly this part needs to be filled up as well, okay. So it needs to be filled up, and this part needs to be grab it down a bit, grab it up, and of course you can use this clay strip. Is one of my favorite brush that you can feel. That's too big. You can fill space, and by adding more volumes, and you can use it as a great tool to adding this uneven and muscular sort of a material to the structure, okay. So we just add aside a bit, okay. And I like to this part to approximate, because we got shoulder here, so this part should be a arm like that. Let me just grab and feel this part a bit, okay. So and this is my personal preference, that when I do that, I will adding the landmark along the way. For example, I got this cleavage. No, it's not cleavage. It's and I just found out this pronunciation is
clavicle.
Clavicle, right? So you know, I because this English is not my mother tongue, so I might just mispronounced something. So if you find out, we are more than welcome to point it out in the comment section. Okay, clavicle. Okay, and yeah, so we got this clavicle as a sort of a landmark. This is just my personal preference to adding all that as a landmark along the way. Okay, so sorry, got that. So for example, if I like to add a landmark, I would just call it something like this, and the muscle part I got something like that. You know, this is a chest muscle, clavicle, right? And this shoulder parts, and this part will definitely be our arm coming out. All that you can feel it, because you don't want it too bumpy, and you just feel it here. Okay, so right. And I think this can give us a pretty good base for me to work on. I think I maybe need to grab it down a bit, okay, because that's definitely too big. I need to squish this inside, so I'll do a quick adjustment by making the brush pretty big, so it can change the overall shape without actually changing too much of the design. So this should be a sort of S shape, so and coming outwards and coming backwards, because that's how this human should do. So it's sort of S shape, and you can adjust that a bit by okay, and push it down a bit, something like that. Okay, so I'm pretty satisfied with it, and let's extrude the hand out, so give it basic shape, so you guys can see more clearly what I'm doing. Okay, so just mask this part, because I already got this sort of landmark when I do the sculpting, so and I can left and right mask it on, maybe up a bit. Okay, so once you mask it out, you're going to invert it, Control I to invert it, and you can move it out, so left and right. This is like a extrusion while you are in object mode, and let's move it out by I think we can move. Okay, we got the sculpt, we got this set pivot to unmask, so you got something like this. Okay, and you can screw it out, so like I'm growing an arm, 2 arms. Okay, approximately like this. Okay, it's funny, like a Russian doll. Okay, but I think that's the most efficient way to get an arm. Okay, maybe that's too long. Let me just get it inside a little bit. Okay, and of course you can make it up a bit, so you can clearly see this muscle at the area like this. Okay, so that means, because your arms should be like this. Okay, so if you are going to rig your character, this should be a sort of a pivot point for your arm to turn around, and the muscle got a different angle here, so you can see it's the bunky person. Okay, so pretty good. So after you get it out, and I'm going to fine tune it a little bit. You can sort of think of it as a bone, but as I said, digital art is not completely the same as anatomy. Right? You can see that think of it as a bone, but obviously that's too big for bone. But it's more efficient to do that by thinking of bone and adding muscles, because you're going to just add the muscles on this pretty big base, and it's more efficient to add. So if you're starting from the bone and adding all this muscle, is no, not the efficient way of doing it. Okay, so you just get a basic shape, and then you can fine tuning that by just get rid of this this mask. Okay, so Alt M, get the mask down again, get this grabbing. Okay, so we can grab this up a bit, push it down a bit. I remember if you see this clearly, it's not enough mesh for it to work out, so you need to remesh it so you can get much more poly for you to work out. Okay, get this shoulder blade as well as the muscle out, push it in. I don't think it's need to get too much, and sometimes you don't need to fine-tune that. If you use fine-tune that, yeah, I have a fear of using pretty big brush, but that's a misconception, because sometimes if you use you are so scared you use a pretty small brush, sometimes the effect is not as good as a big brush. Okay, so that's kind of counterintuitive, but yeah, you need to do that, because if you want to make a sculpting better, you need to use a pretty big brush to quickly adjust that. Okay, obviously you can't just drag that to perfect. You need to add in the connection between these two areas. So we got this chest, so I'm going to connect these two areas together. Okay, so because if you clearly not connecting these two together, other people will see that. Okay, they will feel that it's weird, because we are human, we see human every day. Okay, so we got a knack for finding out whether there's something off. And do remember to add a little bit to the back, because yeah, as a contrary, the back is pretty important. Even though you're not sticking at these people's back, still it's important. Adding a little muscle here. Okay, I think this part is a little bit bunky. Let me just smooth it down a bit. Okay, and I think, yeah, we need to add a little bit volume out here, because that rib cage is too small. So obviously we need to grab this center part down, maybe just grab the whole thing down a bit, because that's definitely too small. Okay, maybe just to make it much bigger, so completely change the shape by grabbing everything down, because yeah, maybe push it up a bit. Yeah, that's more like it. Okay, and maybe got this part out a bit. Yeah, then I'm going to push, sorry, maybe just change this part, push it down a bit. Okay, this is more like the actual shape, and this part is a little bit weird, right? So I'm going to push it down a little bit, so you can grab it and get it inside. because I like it, the smoothness of the transition to the neck area to the chest area. Okay, grab it up. So I like to add a little bit curve here and smooth it out, adding some indication. Okay, adding some indication. Okay, you don't need something too fancy, just a little bit hint, and this sort of anchoring point that I make during my sculpting is that I show the future self that hey, there is a mark here that you need to work on. Okay, and I think that's better form. And the back, we clearly did not think of the back when we do our sculpting, so we can use this draw brush, and let's adjust that a bit. I'm going to grab this part up, right? I think I just grabbed it too much down, so just grab it up and draw a little bit back muscles. So let's start from the arm, because the arm is connected to the back. So let me connect all this muscle together. It's a pretty satisfying process to connecting the dots. So let me add a little bit muscular here. Okay, and the muscle should be at the center of it, going back to the center, right? Something like that. And we should got a triangle area here. So let's just paint it out. And it should have got a sort of a curve-like structure. Okay. Maybe just to push it in a bit, because this part a little bit unnatural. Just push in, make it smooth. Okay. And let's continue to dealing with the arm. I think we need to push it in a bit, so maybe just do something like this and push in a bit, and to fine-tune a little bit about the arm. Okay, that's too small. So sometimes you need to be bold to just because if you do bold and you increase the size, and it will look good. If you are so scared of changing, you decrease the size, that will be not so good. Okay, let me grab it out, because all this guy to be a little bulky. So got it out like a triangle shape, but push the rest in. Okay, something like that. So this way you can see this guy is pretty strong. Push the hook back up a bit, and let's talk about the arm. Okay, let me decrease the size. Let me get this inside. This is not a total flat. Okay, so you got inside, sometimes inside, something outside. It's just the shape of it. The reason for that is that you're not only to get this biceps, you are going to get the tricep as well. So let me show you. So you got a pretty bulky muscle here, but at this place we should adding a little bit tricep area. Let me just make it smaller like this. If you train hard enough, you can get this tricep area. And if you want this become more prominent, you can sort of carve a line here. Okay, so let me show you how you press enter. You can carve a line here, but that's too much of it. So this should be fine-tuned by decrease the size and decrease the strength as well, so you get a little bit carved, so we can see this sort of a defining difference, but not like an actual cut, but just a sort of defining of the tricep, like here. Right, so yeah, and of course you got to the front, you can add this something like this as well. Okay, and when you look at from the top, you can add in the curve, as I said. You can add this to adding a little bit defined line of the muscle. So, and of course, because you got muscle here, so the difference, the connection between the muscle and the rest of the part will have a defined line. For example, if I add a little bit bunkiness here, it's a good practice to just carve a little bit line to define that we know that there's a difference between this part and the bicep part. Okay, so you can use the same method to carve it in. We got this defined line here. We got this defined line here at the back. We got this defined line here. Maybe adding a little bit here, because yeah, when you do the biceps, you can add more. So my recommendation is that you adding a certain volume, and you use the carve to carve the connection area. Okay, and I think that's a better way of doing things. Okay, let me just side view this, and I think this part is definitely not good enough, and it's a little bit weird, so let me just grab it out. So as you guys can see, we need to go to multiple angles to finish the sculpting. Okay, when you look at it from different angle, you can see different area that need fine-tuning. You need to fine-tune it from multiple angles in order to find this sort of odd and offness, and yeah, I think that's pretty good. And of course, if you go to the rendering mode, you will notice that this part just like a clay. We haven't adding all this material like this, but of course you can add that and you can change the shape, but for now I think just to leave it as the clay without any material, so we just yeah, make your work much easier. You don't need to worry about all that, just focused on this sculpting. And yeah, I think neck is a little bit long. I think maybe I just go to object mode, go to upper body and grab it and Z axis and just move it up a bit. I think maybe something like that is maybe this is a much better position. Okay. Okay, I think this video is already pretty long for now, so I'm going to pause it and continue to record in the next video. And if you feel this series of tutorials is helpful, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up, and that will be a great help for my channel. Okay, thank you. My name is William Jamin, and I will see you at the next video. Bye.